All right, so thanks again so much for calling in on your cell phone, you guys. I'm really glad you were able to use the teleconference option. Just remember to hit mute on your cell phone until you have a question. That way we don't hear your background noise. So this week, your assignments are your 3.04 asignación, your 3.04 pruebas, 1 and 2, your 3.04 discussion quiz activity, and then your 3.05 asignación. So we're going to go over some of the basics, welcome Andrew, that will help you get those assignments completed. So I'm just going to walk us through a couple of things here. These are your tools that you can use to talk if you have a working microphone on your computer. If not, up here, like where you see this sunshine, you should see a little phone icon, and that's what you can click on to call in. Just be sure you hit mute on your cell phone when you're not talking. You'll have a couple of different tools right here that I might ask you to use, like raising your hand or a polling feature like give me a green check. And then you'll also see this long skinny toolbar right here. You can type using that text tool, or you can write using that pencil tool. It's just kind of hard to write. You can also type in the chat box down here at the bottom, and that's how I know if you have any questions. It's easier if you talk to me because I'll hear your question, but if you aren't able to talk, that's fine too. You can always just type in the chat box. Okay. So we've already kind of tested the microphone a little bit. If anybody else wants to, they can pick up the mic to say hi. But Anaya and Wilmaris, I know you guys can talk already. Oh, and it looks like Andrew already left us. Bummer. Okay, no worries. So let's see here. Can you guys tell me something interesting about you that you like sharing with people whenever you hear this question come up? Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just maybe where you were born. You can write it on the whiteboard using that text icon, or you can type it in the chat box.
In Spanish or in English?
In English is fine. Or you can pick up the mic and say it too. Sorry, I should have said that. You can type it or you can tell me by talking. It's up to you.
I was born in Hialeah, Florida.
In Hialeah, Florida? Who was that?
Wilmaris.
Wilmaris, okay. And Anaya was born in Miami, and Jude was also born in Miami. Awesome. So you guys were all born pretty close to each other. That's cool. I was born in Indiana, but I live in South Florida now in Palm Beach County. My husband is from here, born and raised, so we live near where he grew up. Thanks for answering that, guys. I like getting to know you a little bit better. So our objective is for Module 3, especially 3.04 and 3.05, is using the preterite verb tense correctly. So that's going to be our goal. This is the vocabulary from your 3.04 lesson. So lesson 3.04, if you scroll to the bottom and click on El Vocabulario Nuevo, the new vocabulary, this is what you'll see, okay? Oh, I forgot. I wanted to say hi to you guys via video. I know you know what I look like. Hi. It's nice to see you guys. Okay, I'm going to take the video off. I just wanted to say hi. Okay, sorry. 3.04 vocabulary is what your 3.04 Prueba 1 is going to be all about. So this week when you do your 3.04 Prueba 1, you're going to want to know all of this vocabulary. Okay, and then let's see. I'm going to skip a little bit of this in the interest of time because I want you guys to know that all you need to do is study this vocabulary, make flashcards for yourself, but definitely know this vocabulary for 3.04 Prueba 1. The essential question for 3.04 is that how do we answer questions using the preterite? Does anyone know what this question is asking? ¿Qué estudiaste anoche? ¿Qué estudiaste anoche? Anybody know what that's asking in English? You can pick up the mic or type in the chat box, or if you even know just like one word, what do you think it's saying?
What did you study last night?
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Amazing. What did you study last night? Yeah. And so how would you want to answer that in English? Like, what's something really simple you could say to answer that question? If I said, hey, what did you study last night?
I studied for my chemistry quiz.
Cool, I studied chemistry. Awesome. So the question is, how do we answer that in Spanish? This is the to form of the verb in the preterite. So that aste is our ending that we want to change to the yo form when we answer it. So here is what you're going to need to know for 3.04 asignación, for 3.05 asignación, and for your 3.04 prueba dos. So 3.04 in the estructuras tab, this is like so important that you know these endings. So for estudiar, we would take off the AR and we would put an E with an accent mark. So that's how you conjugate the verb estudiar in the yo form. So your answer would be like, yo estudié química. Excuse me, I studied chemistry. More on that in just a second, okay? But make sure you know 3.04 estructuras for your 3.04 assignment. Hi, Henrietta. Welcome. Okay, so then also let's work on this a little bit. This question is Gabriela, and then we have the verb hablar con su amiga. So the question is, and especially what you'll want to know for your 3.04 prueba dos, is how do we conjugate hablar in the preterite if Gabriela is the subject? Gabriela is an ella. That means she. So what we would do, after we know that Gabriela is an ella, we would take the verb hablar, we would take the AR off of the end, and we learn right over here in this chart that the ella ending is an O with an accent mark. So after we take off the AR, we will put in O. So the answer is habló. Gabriela habló. So if you're at a quiz, you would want to type that into the box, and you would need to make sure that you put an accent mark over the O. Welcome, Tutoria. I'm so glad you're here. We're working on 3.04, conjugating AR verbs in the preterite. So let's practice another one together. Practicamos yo, and then we want to conjugate this verb visitar in the yo form, so that I can say, I visited my cousin last week. Yo blank a mi primo la semana pasada. Here's our yo ending. Anybody know, want to take a guess? Maybe type it in the chat box or type it up here on the whiteboard in this blank. How would we conjugate visitar in the preterite yo form? We're going to take off the AR, and which ending are we going to put on?
Yo visité.
Yeah, yo visité. Exactly. So you'll want to just have all of your accent marks on like a Word document where you can copy and paste them. But the answer would be yo visité. And I'm going to write it, and it's going to be really ugly because I'm bad at this. But I want to, whoa, that's an S. Yo visité with an accent mark. Oh my gosh, yo visité. Okay, then next we're going to do Marta. Marta, we want to conjugate bailar according to Marta. So Marta blank con Miguel en la fiesta anoche. Marta danced with Miguel at the party last night. How would I conjugate bailar so that it agrees with Marta? Which category does Marta fall into below here?
Marta bailó.
Yeah, because she's an ella. Marta is an ella, so we would have Marta bailó. We would take the AR off and we will put that O. Let me see if I can do this better up here. And then I'm just going to use this tool to draw my accent mark. Marta bailó. And then two blank a la farmacia. I want to conjugate llamar according to two. So what's my ending that I would use here? To what?
Llamaste.
Tú llamaste a la farmacia. That's exactly right. I take off the AR and I add the ASTE. Tú llamaste. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to keep going a little bit more in the interest of time. I want to get you guys out of here soon. Part 2 of your estructuras. So when you go to 3.04, you want to click on the estructuras tab, and then at the bottom, you want to click on part 2. That's going to show you the irregular endings for verbs that end in CAR, GAR, and ZAR. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want you to see that there's a U that would come after. Like the CAR would change to a Q, and then you would add a U as well. So spend some time in 3.04 Estructuras Part 2. This is the little mnemonic device that helps you remember it's verbs that end in C, AR, GAR, and ZAR. Crazy gorillas in the zoo. What they want you to know is that those verbs have irregular endings in the yo form only. So the CAR changes to a QUE, the GAR changes to a GUE, and the ZAR changes to a CE. All of those get an accent mark over the E. So again, for 3.04, you want to spend time in the Estructuras tab, Part 1 and Part 2. I'm going to keep moving here because I want to go quickly. I'm going to skip this slide. 3.04 discussion voice activity. So this is an assignment that we're going to do together right now. How do you ask for a room in a hotel? What you need to include, the kind of room you want, and these are verbs that we can use. Querer, necesitar. So you're going to start your sentence, I will be writing this down right now, with the yo form of either, you're going to say quiero, I want, or necesito, I need. So that's word number 1 in your answer for the 3.04 discussion voice activity, which we're doing right now. So I'm going to say, yo quiero la habitación, and I want an individual room. Yo quiero la habitación individual, and I'm going to say, I want it with a private bathroom. I don't want to share a bathroom. Con baño privado. So I'm going to type this in the chat box. This is what I would say. And I'm not going to have accent marks. I apologize. Yo quiero la habitación individual con baño privado. That's it. That's my full 3.04 discussion voice activity. I hope you're writing this down. Another option might be, yo necesito la habitación doble. Maybe you have someone else staying with you. So you might say, I need a double room. Yo necesito la habitación doble. So I'm going to say that one. That's another option. Give me a green check mark when you have your script written down and you feel like you're ready to submit your 3.04 discussion voice activity when we get out of here. Give me a green check mark. There's a little drop down up above where you see our names, and there's like a smiley face, and there's a hand, and then there's a green check mark. I don't see any green check marks yet, so I'm going to wait until you guys have your script written down. I've put a couple in the chat box that are options for you. I might say, yo quiero la habitación con balcón. I want a room with a balcony. Maybe that's all you care about is a view. Yo quiero la habitación con balcón. Or, yo necesito la habitación con baño privado. You can really combine any of these vocabulary words. You just want to start with one of these two verbs, then say the room, and then you can follow it up with any one of these adjectives. Again, give me a green check mark when you have this done. When you have your script written out. Anaya, have you written yours out yet? How about you, Miguel? Can you hear me?
What'd you say?
Have you written out your script for 3.04 yet? I'm doing your
No.
3.04 discussion voice activity with you guys right now. And I put a couple of potential answers in the chat box. Is anyone listening? I mean, if no one's listening, I can just go ahead and end the lesson. I'm doing this because I want to help you guys. I'm doing an actual assignment with you. Tutoria, can you hear me? Miguel, anyone there?
Who?
I don't know anyone. I'm wondering if anyone can hear me because I'm going to go ahead and close out of the live lesson if no one's listening.
It's me and Wilmary. It's me and Wilmary can hear you. I don't know who else called.
Okay, great. But do you know what assignment we're working on?
Yes, the 3.04.
Okay, did you write out a script? Did anyone write out a script? In the chat box, I have given you the answer to this assignment. I have given you several options. I'm wondering if anyone is listening to me.
Yes, we're listening to you.
Did you write out a script for your 3.04 discussion voice activity? The point of this live lesson is so that you can leave here and turn in your assignment. Do you see in the chat box? In the bottom left corner.
Yes.
Where I wrote several answers. Yes?
Yes.
Is anyone planning to copy those down?
I see it too, ma'am.
She said copy them down.
Because it's your assignment. Then you will be done with it. Okay. I'm really discouraged right now because I want to be able to help you guys, but
Miss Stockings, after we copy it down, what do we do?
well, I don't really know. I mean, I'd like to teach the rest of the live lesson and do some more assignments with you, but I don't feel like anyone really is listening.
Yeah, it's time for us to go, so
Okay, go ahead and close out then. See you later.
Okay.
So for 3.04 asignación, this is what we're going to do. It's work file B, part D. And all you have to do is answer these questions in the preterite. So I'm going to take this verb, viajaste. Please put mute on your phone so that I don't hear your background noise, and close out if you guys are leaving. Anyone who's still in class can stay in here with me.
Everybody's going to stay in class. Everybody else is leaving.
Right. I have another lab in a different part of Miami that's in here with me right now. So you can close out and go to your next class, and I'm going to work with them.
Okay.
I'm going to take this verb, viajaste, it's the verb viajar, and I'm going to conjugate it in the yo form for my answer. So the question is, ¿a dónde viajaste tú este verano? And I'm going to say that it's asking, where did you travel this summer? And I'm going to say, I traveled to, and anywhere I traveled. So can anybody tell me a place they traveled to this summer?
I traveled to, what's supposed to be in Spanish?
Wherever, English or Spanish. Who is this?
Oh, I went to Jacksonville.
To where?
Yes.
I can't understand you.
I said that I traveled to Jacksonville then.
Okay. So I want to take this verb, which comes from viajar, and I want to conjugate it in the preterite yo form. Anybody remember how to do that? We want to put this ending on the end of it.
Sorry.
So what would viajar be in the preterite yo form?
Viaje.
Yeah. So it would be viaje, exactly. So you want to answer saying viaje a Jacksonville, making sure you put an E over the accent mark. How about this one? These are all going to be conjugated exactly the same, putting an E with an accent mark on the end to conjugate this verb in the yo form. So this is, ¿Qué programa miraste en la televisión? What program did you watch on television? I want to take this verb mirar and conjugate it in the preterite yo form. Again, exactly the same as we did with viajar. We said yo viajé. So what would this be for number 2? How would we conjugate this verb in the preterite yo form?